Hey y'all, I am here with a full detail tutorial on how I made this bracelet. You will need round nose pliers, flat nose pliers, wire cutters, cord and crimps, jump rings, lobster claw clasps, 3-row rhinestone chain spools, silicone tape, UV resin, UV light, glitter cardstock, and of course you're going to need a Cricut and Cricut Design Space. You're going to start off in Cricut Design Space and you're going to go to text. You're going to choose your font and then you're going to, this is an extra step that I take in order for your Cricut to cut the name out at one time. So this is one big piece. You do text 2 times and I'm going to demonstrate for y'all. So you're going to go to text, and if you want to use this font, this cursive font, this is how I get my all of my letters to cut out all at one time. This is the cursive font that I like to use. I will only use one letter for my first text. Then for the next text, I will put the rest of the name in the text. The first letter separates from the whole name. Sometimes when it cuts out on a Cricut, sometimes it will cut separately. So in order to get it to cut out all at one time, you will have to use the Unite tool. Before you use the Unite tool, you're going to move your first text and your second text close to each other where they're touching. And then you're going to highlight it. You're going to highlight all of it. You're going to go to the edit tool and then you're going to press Unite. Make sure whenever you press Unite that the 2 texts are still highlighted. So once you hit Unite, you're going to zoom in and make sure you see that everything is together. Make sure there is no cracks. And then you're going to start making your offset. You're going to go to edit again, and then you're going to press offset, and you're going to scale your offset how big you want it to be or how small you want it to be. I personally like to make it, even, make it medium size, not too big, not too small, but in between. And then you're going to select the colors that you want to use. Now this part really doesn't make a big difference. Whenever you're loading your cardstock into your Cricut machine, you just know what color you want to use to cut out the offset and the color that you want to use to cut the name out. You can also add an extra offset if you would like, if you want to add an extra color. Now you're going to duplicate the name. You're going to duplicate it 4 times. You can duplicate it however many times you want. The more that you duplicate it, the more 3D that it'll look. Then you are going to duplicate your offsets 4 times. The first 2 are going to be regular, and then the next 2 should be flipped or use the mirror effect. The reason why you're flipping the 2 offsets is because once you apply your Mod Podge on the offsets, you're going to glue them the opposite way, if that makes sense. So that way the back of the nameplate is going to be gold instead of white. So that's why you have to mirror 2 parts of the offset. This is how your Cricut machine should look. It should be on the first setting of poster board, so that way it can cut through the cardstock. So as you can see, I have already layered my names and my offsets with Mod Podge, so everything is already together, and I'm just getting ready to apply the UV resin. Make sure you have the silicone tape. The silicone tape is to keep the UV resin leaking on unwanted surfaces, and also it keeps it from hardening on other surfaces. So this is me in real time working. This is how when you're working, you have to take your time, especially when you're working with UV resin. You also should wear gloves, and you should be in a well-ventilated area. Make sure that the room is not closed in, and make sure that, the room is getting some good circulation, some good air circulation. This is me just applying more resin and making sure that it is evenly coated and applied on the nameplate. So when you're doing this, make sure you take your time. Make sure you're applying little at a time so it won't have so much spillage. Whenever you're curing, and if there is spillage, and if you don't change out the silicone tape, you're going to have to sand the edges down. And in order to avoid having to sand the edges down, just make sure you're changing out the tape as it spills. Also, make sure that your UV light is set to 99 seconds. It just depends on what type of UV resin that you buy. So here's me measuring my wrist. If you're making this for someone else, you're going to have to measure their wrist, or you're going to have the exact measurements of their wrist so the bracelet can fit. Here I'm getting my jump rings out and my crab claws out. I'm kind of prepping to get ready to put everything on the bracelet. You have to widen the grip in order to get it to fit the bracelet. So just take your time when you're doing this part. And then I use UV resin to cure it so it won't come loose. So the rest of the video is kind of self-explanatory. I'm gonna just let the video play through. I'm gonna speed it up a little, but just a little. If y'all have any questions or if y'all feel like I left anything out, leave them in the comments. I would also like to give a shout out for everyone who has been requesting a full detailed tutorial. Thank you so much for letting me be your inspiration and letting me show you how I do my craft. I enjoy crafting on my free time, and I also enjoy teaching people what I know. I really appreciate y'all for that. So yeah, enjoy the rest of this video. Make sure you are subscribing for more tutorials to come, and don't be afraid to leave your questions in the comments. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I hope you're watching this video all the way through. And if you are, thanks for watching.